Welcome back. Well, we got a couple guests on that I know, if you've been longtime viewers, you certainly know. This time they're on because they're candidates for the El Toro Water District Board. They're both currently on that board. I'd like to welcome Catherine Freshley, who a lot of folks here know. You've been around the community, you've been on the boards here, on and off for quite some time. And then sitting next to her is Fred Ajarian, and Fred has been a longtime member of the Water District Board. Catherine, if I'm correct, you've been on for a few months?
I got appointed in July. Okay. Replacing Bill Kahn when he passed.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I have been participating with the Water Board for the last 5-6 years. I just, you know, it was an interest of mine at the time, particularly while I was still on GRF, because, you know, the community is about 25% of the consumption of what the water district produces in revenue. So we're a big factor in that, and if any time anybody, you know, as part of our outreach, you know, we have every quarter a CAG meeting, which is a civic meeting which is a luncheon for the community, and a lot of residents from Laguna Woods Village come.
Right.
And it keeps them abreast of what the water district is doing for them.
Right. And Fred, of course, you've been with the Water District for quite some time. Good to see you again.
Likewise.
And in fact, your history goes all the way back, really more than 20 years ago, as far as working with water boards.
40 years ago.
40 years ago. All right, I'm reading his.
See the gray hair.
Yes, but you were appointed by then Governor Pete Wilson to be on the San Diego Regional Water Control Board.
Yes.
And I know you know, when you often come on and give you a report for the Water District, one of your main focuses that you like to talk about and point out to folks is really the statewide system.
Yes.
What's going on with it, and in essence how it dovetails to the local water districts, right?
Exactly, Ken. As you just noted, the statewide water system is extremely important. It's the backbone for all of California's supply, but particularly Southern California. We have a $1 trillion economy here in Southern California that relies on both the Colorado River Aqueduct and the State Water Project. And so my focus has been on the aging of those key infrastructure facilities and what's being done to maintain them and to upgrade them in preparation for things like climate change, new seismic challenges up in the Delta with fishery and other endangered habitat, and also just ensuring that that the water continues to flow reliably 24/7, 365.
Right. And Catherine, let's take what Fred just said about the state system, an aging system. And you being a resident of this community, that's always a topic here about everything has to do with our community, that it ages. Things need to be fixed within the village here. However, it's like what we need to get done quickly and efficiently while keeping costs down. And I remember, you know, when you were talking about the changeovers in this community, that was one of your main focuses, is how do we bring this community into current and future so it operates smoothly, but by keeping costs either flat or down. So I'm asking you, when it comes to the El Toro Water District, how you view that.
I view it, actually my position and my philosophy has not changed. You know, as I said on Tuesday actually at the GRF board meeting, I just spoke. And I was complimentary of Brad because, you know, the transition, the whole purpose of the transition was to get our operating costs under control, but to really get focused on the infrastructure of the community. And that's one of the things I applaud VMS for doing. And the same is true of all of our utilities. You know, and that's what the focus, actually El Toro has been really over the years done a great job. Now, historically, you know, we had Ted, who had been on there for quite a few years, but previously we've had residents of the community on the water district because we are such a high proportion of their revenue and their usage. But But unless all the utilities, and I include all in the country, pay attention to the infrastructure, you know, then very slowly, all of a sudden, we start having things breaking down, bridges, sewer lines, water lines. And it's the obligation of public servants to really make sure that that infrastructure has been maintained. I know it's not the most beautiful thing. A lot of people like, you know, they want to spend money on things they can see.
Yeah.
But unless we have the basic infrastructure solid, the society can't ultimately continue to function. And as I said, oftentimes for this community, our goal in this community during the transition was to make sure we were an enduring community, and the boards have carried on that way, just with the extension of the trust for another 20 years.
Right.
This community wants to be an enduring community for everybody. I've lived here 25 years. So, you know, so it's up to us to make sure that it's here another 25 years and functioning effectively.
And Fred, you know, we've seen certainly a lot of the problems that have been up in LA County, water main breaks constantly.
Yes.
Of course, many of those systems go back
Pre-1900s.
Yeah, exactly. Not so much for El Toro, but it's still getting to the point where there's probably a lot of systems that have to be looked at and maybe replaced. But on top of that, El Toro Water District has been very good at looking towards the future with the recycled water project, with new plants that you put in and new wastewater systems and things like that, right?
Exactly. You mentioned our wastewater recycled water program. The district dedicated its $35 million tertiary treatment wastewater plant, recycled water plant, and it's dedicated actually to Ted Martin. It's the Ted Martin Water Reclamation Plant in 2015. And that was the completion or culmination of about 25 years of planning, starting way back during Ted's era and with previous directors prior to Catherine and myself. It's that kind of vision and foresight that's required to anticipate not only the current needs, but the future needs, both for Laguna Woods and also for the other 4 cities that El Toro Water District serves, which includes Lake Forest, Aliso Viejo, Mission Viejo, and where I live, Laguna Hills. Currently, we just finished up phase 2 of our recycled water program, in which major portions of the village were retrofitted. And so now our staff is looking at phase 3, which is to see what other opportunities outside of the village and within those other cities that I just mentioned might be available that are reasonably cost effective. And that's the key, because recycled water is not an inexpensive process. You have to plan for it and do it a little bit at a time, certainly taking advantage of state and local incentives, which we did with our treatment plant and also with our phase 2 recycled water project, where we got an SRF, a state revolving fund loan from the state. And so again, it's part of our job as directors is to look at those kinds of projects that the staff brings forth and see how that fits in with the district's overall strategic plan.
Right, and you know, along with that too, Catherine, is how the district looks at itself as a whole, as you have said, meaning a whole part of the statewide system. The Colorado River, you even have to look beyond that as well, right? To other states.
It's still some real challenges. That's one of the things that interested me in actually, after serving 9 years on the boards here in the village, of participating with the water district. Because water is such an essential, is so essential to our life that ensuring that we have the best possible services is critical to our basic survival. And one of the things, in the whole process, I like to bring up, because most people don't think about it. I know I didn't, and I got an engineering background. But the amount of water that the earth has now is the same amount of water that was here when the dinosaurs were here.
That's true.
Most people don't stop and think about it that way. And so it's so critical for us then to really learn how to use it effectively and care for it, because it's a resource we can't live without.
All right, very good. I want to thank you both for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
really
Ken.
appreciate it. And of course, the, you know, for you folks who get the mail-in ballots,
Yeah.
those I think will come out in about a week.
No,
if
they're
I'm not
out there.
mistaken.
They're coming this week.
Okay,
so you
this
may
week,
get them this
okay.
week, and you got
I
the
got
information.
an email saying mine's on the way. So
Yeah,
that's all I know.
well, that's right. So
Yeah.
you got the information last Saturday,
yeah,
and now
that's
the,
right,
now
that's
the
right.
ballot is on its way.
All right. Thank you very much
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you,
for
Ken.
coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate the
We'll see how it goes for you.
Okay, well,
All
thank
right,
you.
good luck
Okay,
to you.
well, thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, Ken.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ken.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll be back. Yeah, I don't know.